Castle. A lot of the stuff I don't know too much about other than it's made pretty much out of tin and junk and so forth, I guess. I'll know more about it after we see it.
Sally's back. I just gave him a whole bunch.
They give a guided tour through here, so I'll take a picture of it. Then I'd better get in the tour.
There you go, young man. I'm a wood carver and a metal sculptor, and I've accumulated about 22 different trades along the years. We have 55 acres of land, a mile of creek, we have foundation trails, the area of Colorado town. So, we started out in the 1940s.
Burger once said, "He who me." This is our executive shelf. There's the chairman. This is the members of the board. And that's a tax shelter. This is a tax shelter for a second-story man. Over here is the mute lute for people that don't like the sound of music but have a compulsion to strum. The wide old owl. And this is the bent owl. The rich uncle was made out of a BMW. The wooden pictures you'll see throughout the castle are called a montage. That means it's one type of material. They're all wood scraps and shavings and sawdust. Tank from a motor scooter. And the rear end cover from an international truck. The roller chain is called a permanent. These are exhaust pipe clamps and spider gears and oil drum and pipe and the end some electric motor. That's a chain binder and a calf's jawbone called Hilda the Hooker. She has 2 hooks for both sides of the street. The grouper is made up.
Why don't you rename it to Gracie?
That's Hamtramck, the railroad that will almost get you there sometimes, maybe.
We've got a few buses that way.
The steam engine took 14 months to collect all the parts for it. This is a valve out of a trumpet and a lampshade. That's a 1910 Ford lantern and a transformer canister from the power company. This is from a Xerox machine with a shock absorber and beer can metal and glass. The engineer is made out of mattress ticking and clay. His eyebrows are almost human hair from 15 parts of my body. The chessboard is made out of formica and beer can metal. The table is spruce, 30 of them, and jump over it in a Winnebago. The tractor is made from a 5-gallon gas can, a military gas can, and an iron skillet cut in half. It's called fry pan and gas can. Why do the short people always stand in the back?
Because the big people get in front.
These are master cylinders from a car. There's driving Miss Daisy. That's called the right stuff. It's Don Quixote returning to the windmills. And this is a 2-speed unicycle. You push it by the handlebars, and if you want to go faster, you jump on a bus. In 1968, I made close to 300 beer can cars for breweries and beer distributors. That was my alcoholic period. See, I was seeing double. This one is called the practical beer can car because it's a car on both ends and it makes into a convertible and an ashtray. That's a Florida Cadillac, a citrus hauler. The gangster gun is made out of a bumper jack and a half of a hacksaw. It's called a hacked-off jacksaw. Napoleon's pistol is a motor armature and a vacuum cleaner wand. He was a little fellow with a big gun. That's why he had to keep his hand in his coat. People thought he had heartburn. This is a horse's hame from a carriage. That's a pitcher pump handle. And this one is called a square shooter. It's made with a toilet valve for flushing out the perpetrator. Reverend Jim Jones's dueling pistols from Guyana. The 4F gun, made out of a pipe wrench, is a pistol without a trigger for a killer without a finger. The plumber's Revenger shoots the short-handled toilet plungers. See those notches? That's how many toilets were plugged. I made this for the fast food restaurants. It fires a fork to get the waiter's attention. That's the hernia gun. It weighs 70 pounds. It used to weigh 60 pounds, but nobody wants to dust it. That's the shootless shotgun. There's no way to load the shells. And this is the shooter stabber, does both at the same time, and that's the Minuteman's gun. Chinese, and that's Elizabeth Taylor portraying Cleopatra. Over here is a train on time. Can you see that? Train on time? Come on, stand by me. The slave ship has the oars down because the captain wanted a water ski. He's made out of one oil drum. He has a tail chain and a main chain. That's the court jester. And this is Lionel. Lionel's made out of 5 oil drums and 70. And the energy crisis is a brake shoe being pulled by a turtle. I call this brake shoes and bedroom slippers, or Happy Rocking Feller. Remember Happy? So I figured out how to plug a wind instrument into a musician's lung, leaving his mouth free to save me the expense of a vocalist. I made this for political rallies. It shoots eggs at politicians. See, that one blew up because somebody sold me powdered eggs. This is a flying lawnmower for tall grass. Orville and Wilbur Wrong had an airplane factory. They were trying to invent the bicycle. And they named this first model the Gossamer Schwinn. It didn't work because the rubber band broke. And this is a peanut butter jar. That's called a helicopter to stick to the roof of your hangar. Over there in the box is a mummified mermaid called
He's building this boat for a cafe.
Why, yeah, if he down the bus, we know where the bus is.
Like Teresa are born every year. This case has forced people to ask whether it is permissible to end one life to save another. Mark Potter, ABC News, Miami.
There has been another round of debate today over President Bush's new proposal on abortion counseling. At issue is something called the gag rule, which, if it is put into effect, would impose severe limitations on what advice family planning clinics would receive federal money to give the people they serve. Up until now, President Bush has wanted no advice at all about abortion, and then a week ago there was a change. Doctors would be permitted to discuss abortion in those clinics, but only doctors, not nurses. As ABC's Al Dare reports from the countryside tonight, those who run family planning clinics say the conditions are still far too restrictive. Most of the women who come to Planned Parenthood's main clinic in Atlanta for pregnancy counseling are poor. Clinic officials say those women will be treated unfairly under the Bush administration's new guidelines because they still would not get information about it.
We walk too fast for him to equal us trucks.
Two worlds, undaunted by age-old myths and silly superstition. The age of the Renaissance. Great minds are turning from flights of art to flights of fancy. Great boilers of Beyond the Mississippi, passengers enjoy the scenic west and adventure of the open road. Another kind of horse arrives. A steam-powered iron horse, bringing fast, dependable, safe travel to the new frontier. Another kind of horse arrives. A steam-powered iron horse, bringing fast, dependable, safe travel to the new frontier.
Keep your hands up. I said hold that box steady.
Ah, a peaceful
Crab!
into the 20th century. Our newest tradition, the Sunday Drive. Now we quickly get away from it all to the beautiful, carefree countryside. The dashing heroes of the wild blue yonder. Now the sky's the limit. The dashing heroes of the wild blue yonder. Now the sky's the limit. Away to for every need and every day. Now mobility is the byword of modern.
here is the framework of the Lean Mean Machine. Trucks of the future. Watch it there.
We're now passing through Norway, gateway to Scandinavia. Hidden beneath the side roof is a quiet place to nibble on pastry-man sandwiches from the Kringla Bakery. Located to the rear of the courtyard is the entrance to Maelstrom, our Norwegian high seas adventure aboard mythical Viking longships. Over to our left, you'll see China. Our Circle Vision 360 motion picture, Wonders of China, will take you to many rare and exotic places some never seen before on film. You'll visit Mongolia, the Potala Palace in Tibet, and take a rare peek inside the Forbidden City. Your journey begins in the circular building, styled after the Hall of Prayer for Good Harvest in Beijing. For authentic Chinese cuisine, there is the Lotus Blossom Cafe, or the Nine Dragons restaurant.
What?
Sounds like the
Oh, there's your height.
Directly ahead of us, you'll see Germany, where Oktoberfest is celebrated year-round in the beer garden and barbarian shops offering handmade crafts, as well as hand-painted Hummel figurines, fine wines from Schmidt Zona, and confections from Balzen. You can dance the polka or sing folk songs while dining on hearty wine, sprout, and sausage in our beer garden. Directly ahead of us, just to the right, you'll see the Venetian Canal signaling our approach to Italy. You can dine on classic fettuccine alfredo or enjoy the delightful performers of comedy. In the building, styled after the Doge's Palace, you'll find Il Bel Cristallo, home to fine porcelain and hand-blown glass. Now approaching our bus stop for Italy. For your safety, please remain seated. If you choose to disembark, lower your heads up.
This
Out there on that barge that you see is where the fireworks is fired from. You can see all the people gathering around the edges. It's only just a few more minutes, I believe about 10 more minutes till the surprise in the sky will commence.
Today's performance.
Those will make. I love these flights of fancy, searching the universe for sounds, colors, ideas, anything that sparks the imagination. A sunbeam, that's a good one. Oh, everything I collect can inspire amazing and marvelous new ideas. And you never know what kind of figment you may come up with. Oh, here's my favorite. 2 tiny wings, eyes big and yellow, horns of a steer, but a lovable fellow. From head to tail, he's royal purple pigment, and there, voila! You've got a figment of imagination.
Rainfire, I'm just right.
Not quite. I'll throw in a dash of childish delight. Look, Figment, some new friends have joined us.
Imagine to.
Of course! Imagination is something that belongs to all of us.
Everyone can think of new things.
That's right, Figment. And every sparkling idea can lead to even more. So many times, we're stumbling in the dark, and then, eureka! What a spark!
How will it like it?
We can combine it with ghostly shivers on a stormy night, and
Oh, wow! Dr. Spencer's favorite for writing, Costco's favorite for hunting. There's no louder.
what about science?
Science. We'll need electron beams, crystal prisms, gyroscopes,
other battery. You know, I'm taking a picture of that plane anyway. I tell you what, I could tell somebody that there was the shuttle coming in, they wouldn't know any different.
We'll see how it got there when we come back. We look at the orbiter right now at the Kennedy Space Center as they're getting the crew prepared to get off in the crew transport vehicle. They usually do that about 25 to 45 minutes after landing here. It was a great sight in the pre-dawn skies over the KSC as the Atlantis headed down to runway 33, touching down just about 6 seconds late, but big deal when all said and done, huh? It was right on line. The 7-member crew completed their 9 days in orbit, doing atmospheric research and studying the Earth's atmosphere and the environment, and some solar study as well. There it was. It was a long roll on the 15,000-foot runway. It took quite a while for the wheels to come to a stop.
That was your touchdown.
Commander Charles Bolden was at the stick as the Atlantis came down on the runway 33 into the beautiful dawn sky here in East Florida. As I mentioned, the crew will be getting out.
Now, are we getting something on it? Now, are we getting something on it?
Yeah.
Good enough. I'll put your date.
Push that.
Time. I'll push again, take it off. Marcus got the cam all set up, taking pictures going down A1A, headed towards St. Augustine. And we have a good headwind. There's a lot of wind blowing. Did you hit the button again? Check the date and time off?
Yeah.
There's a coast-to-coast camp up here a ways called the Beach Corners. We're going to see if they let us come in for a few nights. orange light on?
No.
Push the red button again.
There, come on, record. Too late.
Yeah, because you know why? You get the idea there's something wrong. And there's nothing wrong. It won't do anything. Push the button. Are you taking pictures now?
Yeah. Shut it off.
Have any success with this? They were going to give up with this whole thing. What they were going to do, they were having all kinds of problems. And then King Philip heard that the French started a colony north of here called Port Caroline. It was about 35 miles north. And this outraged him that the Huguenot Caedrelman and his little E's settled this area once and for all and get rid of the French. He came here in the year of 1565. It was the fall of the year. He sighted land on the feast day of his patron saint, St. Augustine. And as it will be, that was 42 years before the British founded Jamestown, 55 years before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock. St. Augustine, the oldest permanently inhabited European settlement in the United States, back in the whole northern continent of built next. We're going to head for stop number 2, the visitor center. I'm going around this back way. Traffic was all jammed up over there the other ways. So I go around this way. I got a couple of horses. I can't do it. You don't see it. You don't see these. We'll go around the corner here to the visitor center.
Where'd you go? I didn't get... Thank you.
With John D. Rockefeller. In St. Augustine, Flagler envisioned a southern Newport that would attract the wealthy and fashionable from America, Canada, and Europe for the winter social seasons. His vision became reality with the 1888 grand opening of his magnificent Ponce de Leon Hotel. No expense was spared in this showcase of Spanish Renaissance concrete. Like Flagler's first winter guests, today's visitors are almost overwhelmed by the opulent rotunda's Italian marble and mosaics, and the elegant dining room designed to serve 800 in one sitting. Even before the Ponce de Leon's grand opening, workers were busy constructing Flagler's second resort facility, the Hotel Alcazar and its casino. Galas, balls, and other grand affairs made the Alcazar St. Augustine's center of entertainment for more than 4 decades, and revitalized as the new St. Augustine City Hall, and a carefully renovated home to the unique worldwide collections of the Lightner Museum, devoted to relics, fashions, and art of the 18th and 19th centuries. As you've seen in this brief travel, the endless combination of diverse activities and interesting living heritage leaves only one question unanswered. When will you discover Florida's real magic in St. Johns County and St. Augustine, where you'll come face to face with the historical treasures of America's first permanent European settlement, where a day's walk can turn into one of the most fascinating and memorable times of your life, where a wide choice of accommodations will put more value into your visit, and where fun, relaxation, excitement, and adventure seem to go on forever. Take time to explore the unique pleasures of contemporary life in America's oldest city. Make plans to discover Florida's real magic. Plan one of the times of your life in St. Johns County and St. Augustine. King Philip II considered Ribot's Fort Caroline a serious threat to Spain's valuable Caribbean trade and treasure route. By royal command, battle-tested nobleman Pedro Menendez assembled an armada to destroy the French interlopers. In 1565, more than 50 years before the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock, Menendez found a safe anchorage in what is now Matanzas Bay and disembarked his colonists. Today, you will see this landmark cross, along with a shrine, where the colonists and soldiers celebrated the feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Mother with a mass, and named the new settlement for St. Augustine, on whose feast day this land was sited. In the weeks that followed, Menendez marched overland, surprised Fort Caroline's defenders, and destroyed the French fortification. Meanwhile, other members of Ribault's force were shipwrecked near an inlet south of St. Augustine. Menendez arrived with 40 soldiers to find 5 times as many starving Frenchmen, most of whom surrendered without a fight. Outnumbered by prisoners he considered pirates and heretics, and for whom he had no extra provisions, Menendez put almost all the French to the sword, sparing only women and children and those who professed to be of the Catholic faith. He also ordered construction of a fortification to guard this southern approach to St. Augustine, which became known as Matanzas, the place of slaughter. Today, visitors can cross the Matanzas River to Rattlesnake Island and explore the Spanish blockhouse filled with dramatic history and interesting artifacts. One of the structures to survive many turbulent times is the Spanish Governor's House from the mid-1600s. Now home to the historic St. Augustine Preservation Board, it's considered the oldest seat of government in the United States, where a succession of administrators ruled Florida for over 200 years. Also within the Government House are extensive archaeological collections that include more than 1 million artifacts uncovered from it. One of the most renowned historic sites still guards America's oldest city. In 1672, to provide more potent and forceful protection, the Spanish began building a massive stone fortress. After more than 20 years of construction, the Castillo de San Marcos presented a formidable defense. From its 4 heavily armed bastions with walls up to 20 feet thick and surrounded by a moat on the land side, the fort became Spanish Florida's center of defense and never surrendered to pirate, Indian, or Englishman. Very near the fort, you'll pass through the old city gate, built in 1808 as part of the defense works around the growing town of St. Augustine. From here, it's just a short walk to the intriguing Spanish Quarter, where you will step back in time and experience firsthand how soldiers and settlers lived in the St. Augustine of the 1740s. Here you will discover a living history museum village that authentically depicts the daily existence of colonists who lived in the protective shadow of the Castillo de San Marcos. On nearby St. George Street, you'll find a fascinating and unique kaleidoscope of architecture, shops and galleries, restaurants, and historical ironies. In fact, the St. Augustine that the English were unable to conquer by force was later transferred to them by the Spanish at the Treaty of Paris in 1763. This non-violent change to 20 years of British rule brought St. Augustine improved roads, trade, agriculture, and even Florida's first newspaper. After the American Revolution, a new treaty put St. Augustine once again under the flag of Spain, which governed Florida until 1821, when it finally became a territory of an expanding United States. Today you can experience St. Augustine's melting pot heritage in an almost year-round celebration of festivals and special events. And don't pass up a leisurely day of browsing.
This here's the old government house. It took care of the government business of St. Augustine for many years.
But right now we're heading over towards the whimsical little...
From the fort, this here is looking out over the city of St. Augustine. This is looking down into the fort, the center part of it, where over 1,500 people stayed for several months while the British had them pinned outside. Should have said from outside. They was out in the harbor shelling them.
large water table drop, so it was necessary to cap it off and leave it as a landmark. About this time, this well is 11 feet in depth. Now, the Indians you see portrayed before you are the Timucuan Indians, and these Indians resided here in their village of Saloy when Ponce de Leon landed. These Indians are well known for their extreme height of 6.5 feet or more, and historians want to credit their extreme height due to their high-protein seafood diet, as well as their custom to marrying the tallest male to the tallest female. Now, Ponce de Leon, who's a gentleman over here to my right, he is who officially discovered the mainland of the continental United States. Now, he was born in province of Leon, Spain in 1460, and in 1493 he did accompany Christopher Columbus on his second voyage to the New World, and in 1509 he was elected the first governor of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, it was there he had learned from some Indians of an island lying to the north that said to have a spring that would give eternal youth to anyone who drank of it. So, believing this, Ponce de Leon had equipped 3 ships at his own expense and took the cute blonde on this voyage. Well, he didn't take the cute blonde, but anyway. So he did go on his voyage, and on March 27, 1513, he came upon the island that he believed to would have the spring on it. And on April 3rd, 1513, he had landed, and that was during the Easter season. Now, Spaniards call Pascua de Flores, meaning feast or festival of flowers. Ponce de Leon decided to name this new land La Florida, meaning the flower, and as we call today, Florida. Now, Ponce de Leon stayed for 5 days. He bathed and he drank from the water, but he didn't feel any different. So he did continue his search for the Fountain of Youth, the west coast of Florida, in 1521. Now, it was there he had ran into some Indians that weren't so friendly as the Timucuan Indians, and he was in battle with them. There he was mortally wounded and died in Cuba. And about 75 years ago, his remains were taken back to San Juan, Puerto Rico, where he is today. Now, the stone cross that you see before you here are what historians believe is a landmark left here by Ponce de Leon. If you'll notice, there are 15 stones running east to west and 13 stones from north to south, counting the center stone twice, indicating the year 1513. This was found quite by accident in 1909 by a workman. We had a hurricane that just came through, and he was digging up an old tree stump and found this. So we left it, we just cleared away and put up the wall. Now, just a couple interesting facts. The gentleman over here to my left is Chief Ariba. He was the tallest man of his tribe, of course, being the chief. He stood 7'1". Ponce de Leon was the tallest man of his 3-ship crew, but he only stood 4'11". Also, Ponce de Leon died at the age of 61. Now, 61 today, you're still teenagers, but back then the average European male only lived to be about 30 to 35 years of age. So, also remember, he didn't die of natural causes. He did die with the battle with the Indians. We like to think maybe he would have lived to be 100 or so. But we'd like to also think the extra 30 years that he had gained was from drinking the water here.
In our travels to Jackson, Mississippi, we stopped off to an Army buddy's place. I was in the service with him, Charles Paxton. That's his home down there. Got a nice lake out behind. We went down to have breakfast with him. We stayed out here alongside of the road. Beautiful morning here this morning. Yeah, I hope you can hear the birds singing. One says skidoo, 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 or Margaret says skeeter, skeeter, skeeter. And we are.
Oh man, I can see why people get intimidated when they see that little light flashing up there.
Yeah.
Taking down everything you do.
What?
I say I can see why people would get intimidated. I'll be taking pictures like this and
Does that bother you?
move out the way. Oh, it doesn't bother me, no. But it's,
I knew you liked cameras.
I like cameras. I don't care if I get my picture taken though.
You don't?
No.
He certainly takes everybody else's.
All right.
Well, what have you done since you have retired?
Oh my gosh. I guess I worked for IBM and fixed typewriters all my life, IBM typewriters. And then I did that for 30 years and retired and decided I wanted to play footage, video and stuff like that. So I set up my own business for about 5 years and fixed typewriters. And it did real well at it. And then I finally quit all that. And I'm fully retired right now, and my main joy is my family, my wife and my grandson and my daughter. And I've got a 6-year-old grandson, Stephen, daughter Paula, 36, and my wife over here. And I have never been bored since I retired. I've loved every minute of it.
Very good. Since I've retired, well, before I retired, after we left 6834 Rearmament Regiment, I went back home anxious to get married, got married, and went to farming. And unexpectedly, after getting married, children started to arrive, and I was unable to clothe them and feed them to what I planned on, so then I had to sort of let farming be my sideline, and then I went to work for U.S. Steel as a heavy equipment operator and spent 32.5 years with them. After we moved from Minnesota to Arizona, and retired at Prescott Valley, Arizona. And in my spare time, before retiring totally, my wife and I went out into the woods and cut 2,880 lineal feet of Norway pine, had all the side lumber taken off, so we got down to a timber of 8 1/4 by 6 1/4. We took that to a planer. At the planer, we put a 9-inch curve on it, notched it, and hauled it down to Prescott Valley, Arizona. And we didn't erect the building itself or ourselves. We helped, but after the logs were put up and the rafters were put on, then we had no help at all. Margaret and I have continued to build our home, and it's not completed yet.
Is that right?
We have a...
Is it a log cabin?
It's a log cabin.
Oh, that sounds great.
We thought we wanted carpeting. Up there in Minnesota, we only had the wooden floors. We were kind of remote in there, and linoleum and
tile as time went on, but we thought we wanted carpeting. We only had one home that we lived on, the poultry farm, that had carpeting. But we thought we wanted carpeting. After a while, we decided no. So we went back to Missouri with the truck, and we bought 1,190 board feet of red oak, hauled it back to Arizona, dry killed it in the old tin trailer that I'd hauled it in. Then I bought a planer. We planed it, and now I've built a machine to tongue and groove it. And when we get back home, we hope to put the hardwood floor.
So, oh yeah, that's really doing it yourself. I can't believe
That's what I want. I want to do it myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
My background is a little bit to the Dunkard. You know what the Dunkard religion is?
No.
A Dunkard religion is the reason they got the name Dunkard. They believe in complete submerging. My great-grandfather was a Dunkard.
Well, that's a Baptist.
It is a drop. We broke away from those Baptists, and I'm talking to a couple of Baptists here right now, and that's why they're all laughing.
Yes,
But I had nothing to do with it. But the the Dunkard is not too far from the Amish. And those people there do it themselves. They don't believe in this modern technical ways of doing. They do it the hard way.
Everything.
Everything. And I sort of believe in that. I like to do it.
Well, you have a lot of sense of satisfaction.
Oh, definitely.
Man.
Definitely. Another thing that we have done, we do all of our landscaping and such as that. Everything.
What size house are you building?
What size? The house itself, the building itself, the living part of the building is a full basement, 30 by 40. And then as we get up above, we have a garage on the end of the basement. And
I mean, you drive into the basement, is it land that is...
Yeah, it's on the side hill.
On the side hill, yes.
So it's a walkout basement with a garage that I can put my motorhome right underneath the front porch. Then, there, over that garage is this front porch. You might call it a front porch. I call it a front porch. Some people call it a veranda. Some people call it a patio. But it's got a roof over the top of it, and it's all built out. The rating around it is made right out of the logs. It comes right out of the house.
Oh, goodness sakes.
So it comes right on through the stacks. Well, I don't know if I've got a lot of tape on that or not, so maybe I better go up and shut it off.
Okay.
Unless you want to say, where you arrived from?
Oh, right around this neighborhood. I grew up about 5 miles north of Clinton, just a suburb of Jackson. So I've been in this area all my life. I have 4 sisters, 1 brother.
We got married out at her family's house on April 26, 1950. And believe it or not, of course that was Southern Memorial Day then, and Memorial Day, and we said to ourselves, well, we'll always have a holiday on our anniversary. But they changed all that, of course. We had 83 out there at the wedding in that living room. Never will forget that.
I don't know if I got it on to the, or if we even mentioned. I'm Charles Hartsock. This is my wife, Margaret. And this is...
I'm Charlie Paxton, my wife, Dot.
With that,
and we are enjoying the visit with you folks. It's great. I'm sorry I can't remember you back then. You need a picture. You know me a lot better than I know you, and that I can't stand that. But I'm trying to be honest with you. You know, if I don't,
that's what I want everybody to be honest. I'll be honest with them.
But
Okay.
it's been a real pleasure having you and Margaret, Charles. It certainly has. And we hope you'll do this again.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't imagine who was coming to see me yesterday when somebody called and said, there's a fella down here that wants to come to your house. Where do you live? I had no idea who it was. I was scared something. I'm so relieved when he drove up in the motorhome.
Corpus Christi, because I'm sure you'll, the rest of the guys.
Oh, that I remember some of them. Of course, you see, the problem was, okay, just a minute. I got the date, but I didn't have it. Assumed the old life. Oh, National Old Life. Okay, on January 1, 91. Nancy, I appreciate that so much, and I'm still going to get up to see you and Sue. I just got to do it. I said I was going to do it, and I got so busy. And after I had my business, after I gave up my company, I still fixed a few typewriters, but I finally quit that. We got a 6-year-old grandson. The most charming thing that ever was, and of course I spend as much time with him as I can.
Down there, go up and see the kids.
this afternoon, we're gonna have a little Easter party, aren't we? We kinda get together, my daughter, granddaughter, son-in-law Jim, grandson-in-law Jim, and son-in-law Joe, and Marty. Now I guess we're all set. We'd like to have a little speech out of you, Joe.
Don't give speeches unless we have a toast. That's my line.
Boy, for a talkative bunch.
Yeah, and whenever the camera
goes on, everybody's yelling.
I know.
What's this for? What's this for? Just memory?
Just to make a show.
Yeah, it's at the end of a film, and I just like to use that.
Travels of the Lord.
Well, travels, yeah, this is part of the travel. Oh, I did not date it.
Well, today's April the 18th, 1992.
Allen, Texas. Am I cruddy rental property?
Oh, it ain't so cruddy.
11:55 a.m.
Pretty cruddy. You didn't see my other house.
No, we got spoiled definitely.
What are you looking at there?
Yeah, we didn't
Brian
get
senior pictures.
we
And my
didn't
little
get to
brother
see-
Brian and his
Is that
dog.
Brian just before you left?
Yeah.
And Brian in his car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Brian in his car and his girlfriend.
Oh, let's show it a little faster. Let me see it. It's been about 2 weeks now. No, 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, we had the pictures taken. And then a week later, the dog was hit. And so he has no dog now.
Not too bad about
And a week after that, he left for service.
The United States Marines here. For the cameras. Say.
I don't have a script.
Do you remember?
Who?
Last Sunday, Joe and I went down to the farm and we had the kids come down, and they invited her side. Her dad came down, and her brother and his wife and little girl.
How old are the kids?
Tina's kids are 7, 5, 3.
Oh, she's got 3. She
Three.
had 2.
No, she's
7,
got
5, and 3.
something like that.
I wanted to show you after you get done.
Having fun now?